Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your June 2026 reading. This is a general reading for all Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. We're going to pull out some cards, get some messages from Spirit, pull out some tarot and some blessings, and have a look at the planetary influences for your month. So we do start out in the remnants of the full moon in Sagittarius that occurred on May 31st. It was a blue moon, and Sagittarius energy is ruled by Jupiter, so it can be a very fortunate, a very blessed full moon for a lot of people. But Sagittarius energy is filled with fun and positivity and big picture thinking, authenticity, and is also an adventurer. So is the sign of the traveler. But before we get on that plane, before we go on an adventure, gotta let our baggage behind. So it is a really good one to really help us to let things go before we go on our next stage of our journey, our adventure. This energy will really carry us through for the first couple of weeks of the month and right up until the new moon in Gemini. And so it's a great time to wrap up projects, finish things off, finish making plans, because the second 2 weeks of June, we will be in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. Mercury turns retrograde on the 29th of June, the same day as a full moon in Capricorn, okay, which can be very closely related to your career, your goals, your business. Okay, and so Mercury always has a shadow period before that retrograde activation. So the first 2 weeks of the month are just work on whatever you're working on, tie up those loose ends, and then get ready for some fresh energy with the new moon in Gemini. Venus moves into Leo on the 13th of June, aspects a number of planets in the first few days of that. So it can be really positive, really supportive, quite transformational as well, especially June 15th when Venus in Leo has a sextile with Uranus in Gemini. So get out of your comfort zone, be authentic, and dare to be a little bit different. Okay. But the day that we kind of look at for June, which we can see these planets coming together in the sky, is Venus and Jupiter will be forming a conjunction in the sign of Cancer, and that is on June 9th. It's a beautiful, harmonious aspect. Jupiter, of course, is exalted as it's at its best energy in the sign of Cancer, and Venus and Jupiter are our two most beneficial planets, usually bringing us gifts and opportunities and some blessings and some beauty in some way. And so that is June 9th. So some people will call that the luckiest day of the year. But whether you consider it that or not, it is some beautiful, beautiful aspects there. So love, luck, harmony, money, creativity, new beginnings, love, attraction, all of this stuff there. It is an aspect that brings us what we need to feel fulfilled without having to struggle for it. Okay, so if you need resources for something, you find it in some way, maybe in some unexpected way. But enjoy the beauty, get together with people, do something nice for yourself. It is a lovely, lovely energy. Let's see what is in the cards for you. And we've got sound. Card number 33. So some nice creative energy there for you guys. Music, silence, rhythm, and vibration. Dance to the beat of your own drum there, people. This can certainly be part of that, Venus, with the sextile with Uranus, right? On where was that, the 15th, right? So dare to be authentic, dare to be you, dance to the beat of your own drum. Don't let don't fall in line with the sheeple. Okay. You are a very creative soul, you're a very insightful soul, you're a very spiritual soul, and so this is really tapping into that energy of sound, right? Part of your throat chakra, okay, with that blue energy there. So create some music, enjoy some silence as well. Yes, the sound of silence can bring us insights, or it can, be where we open up to receive some messages or some maybe even inspiration. This is all about getting into the vibration of what you want, what excites you, what makes you happy. So whether sound is loud, rhythmic, vibrant, or whether it's calm and peaceful and quiet, open and listen. You can create your own sound, but you can also be in that energy of listening, right? So something with your ears, but with 33, that is a very creative energy there. Got retrograde energy coming in here for you guys. Okay, review, reflect, refocus, renew, regroup, revive. Perhaps your planetary ruler Pluto is retrograde. Okay, and then we of course have Mercury retrograde at the end of the month here as well. But I feel this is really more probably for your planetary ruler. Pluto went retrograde. I think it was May 6th and will remain that way all the way up until the middle of October. So if you've been thinking about something, you want to make some changes, start something new, put an end to something, maybe you're looking for, to revive something here as well, right? Or maybe unearth some hidden information. That Pluto retrograde is for you guys. But when we have retrograde energy, we take a step back, we slow down a little bit. Maybe we stop and smell the roses once in a while. But we do all the words, right? Reflect, refocus, regroup, renew, revive, resuscitate, right? Whatever that happens to be. But we take our time doing it. And sometimes in the hustle and bustle of things, we forget to do that. And so retrogrades can really be quite helpful, but they do get a bad rap, especially Mercury, right? Because that usually has a more immediate effect on our day-to-day life. Let's pull some more cards for you guys. Overall energy, we've got the Five of Pentacles. Oh dear. All right. So that is one to pay attention to, people. All right. The Five of Pentacles is an energy of lack. All right. For one. And it can be a very stubborn energy. You're not stubborn, are you? So the Five of Pentacles does remind us that there can be help and resources available for us, whether it's, government help, or whether it's, help from a community or other people, whatever it happens to be. But we're not seeing it, we're not embracing it, we're not asking for it because we could be being stubborn. And sometimes that's ego, right? Pride gets in the way. Okay, but it can also just be because we are in this lack mentality, right? So, perhaps it's, embracing victimhood, perhaps it's, just sometimes we're just caught up in this energy where we just can't see the positive. And so I feel like that blue moon, that full moon in Sagittarius, somewhere in the first part of the month, I feel that you have more of an opportunity to lift yourself out of this energy, because that Sagittarian energy is so positive, right? Most optimistic sign of the zodiac, essentially, right? So just be aware of this energy. Also be aware of the Five of Pentacles. There could be some financial struggles, right? We're feeling the penny pinch. We're feeling the prices at the pump. We're feeling the prices of the grocery store. We're feeling the prices of, housing, that kind of thing. But the problem is so, a lot of us have, the same kind of thing, right? But with that Five of Pentacles, there is that danger of getting stuck, okay, in that lack mentality and the focus on how bad things are, or things can be. Okay, so we just kind of want to be aware of that. We're more likely to see solutions and a way out when we embrace a different attitude, or we look at what's possible rather than what's not possible. Okay. There could be some unexpected expenditures with the Five of Pentacles there as well. Okay, not gonna lie. But again, we have the opportunity to, kind of work through something. Maybe need to make some change. Fives are challenges and obstacles, but they are also opportunities to change. So you might not want to change, or it might be a lot of work to change, right? But sometimes we just have to. If it's just an attitude shift, great. But sometimes we have to make some really difficult choices, and we change our patterns and habits and behaviors, and it's not the easiest thing to do. Okay. But that might be necessary. We've got the Justice card at the back of the deck. All right. So, where there's been injustice, perhaps you're waiting for some sort of legal judgment or decision. The Justice card is Libran energy, which is balance, fairness, and equality. But the Justice card is also truth and honesty. But it can also represent those scales of justice. So, with the back of the deck, you could have some surprise resolution to something here. This can represent that there could be a contract that you're wanting to sort out or that you need to. It's on its way. Okay, the back of the deck can be an influence on your energy. So with the Five of Pentacles and the Justice card, perhaps some of you are waiting for a legal judgment or a settlement. And at the back of the deck, it can go two ways. It can go a couple of different ways. Yes, it's some prevailing underlying energy, but it can represent that justice can be served this month, and it might come as a bit of a surprise. Maybe it's something that happens faster than you thought. But with that being at back of the deck, it can also be something incoming that's not coming in this month, and it will move into the next month or so. Okay, so you might have to play the waiting game a little bit more. Maybe, hey, with that Five of Pentacles, yeah, perhaps there's like a payout that you're waiting for. Perhaps you're waiting for a contract to come in, because this might get you out of a financial hole. Um, you know, because there's like a cathedral on this, because there's a house there, I feel like maybe you may get some sort of notice that you need to find another place to live. Okay, but with that Justice card kind of propping you up, you may just find something within your price range a little bit easier. Okay. But justice is about fairness, balance, and equality. And so if you feel like things are maybe a little bit lopsided, you may need to go back to the drawing board and do some negotiation, some mediation, and also figure out how to restore some balance there. And with that Five of Pentacles, perhaps you need to go and revisit your household finances and just, say, okay, where is our money going? Right. And it's amazing when you do that and you sit there with your bank statement, because electronic forms of payment, your debit card, your credit card, it's so easy to whip out your wallet. But if you carry cash, so when you whip out your wallet and you tap your card, right? Or, you stick your card in the machine, we don't really, as humans, get a visual sense of our money leaving. And so we're more likely to overspend. But if you carry cash, don't listen to these tech oligarchs things saying, oh, a cashless society is best. It is not, has huge ramifications, right? Think of, you want to give your neighbor $20 to mow your lawn, right? Where's that going to come from? You're going to pay them digitally. You can't slip them a 20, right? So yeah, it's, a lot of things go away with digital forms of communication, but also our connection with money disappears. Right. So if you pull cash out of your wallet, you see it leaving. And so when you go back and have a look at your bank statement, and it's like, oh my God, I've spent $200 this month on coffee. We tend to change our habits a little quicker when things really hit home that way. So you may be looking to kind of rebalance your household budget there, because things aren't where you want them to be. Message from Spirit, the Page of Cups. Okay, you've got some awakening coming this month. Not surprising, since we do have Uranus in the mix this month. We also have Uranus squaring the nodes on the 12th, squaring the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. So Virgo could represent your daily work, habit patterns, routines, also your focus on your health, happiness, and well-being. And your North Node can be about, your creativity, but also about your connection with spirit. Okay, so some of you are experiencing an awakening, some sort of download. Uranus, being our great awakener, can really help shake things up and help us to release things that are preventing us from moving forward or preventing us from making positive change. And often our thoughts, our energy, right? Where we're at, focusing too much on what we don't want and not enough focus on the things that we do. And so this can be where you get that deeper insight, that download there. But Uranus, great awakener, we can awaken to a lot of things, we can open our eyes. Okay, but Uranus also is trying to shake us free. Okay, and it can really propel us forward into the future. So the Page of Cups, your message from Spirit is listen to Spirit, okay, or connect with Spirit in some way. This can also represent that you need to have some fun. The Page of Cups is a very fun-loving energy, very, can be very tied to your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, but can also be tied to loving yourself and having some fun. Fun, fun and adventure does not have to cost money. Okay, we quite often go to money, right? Oh, hey, you want to go out for a picnic? I don't have any money, right? You want to go, you want to go out and explore some nature? I don't have any money, right? So adventure and fun and things does not have to cost money. There's so many things that we can do for free, or on the cheap. Okay. So don't let that get in your way of happiness and joy and feeling all this positive energy. Okay, with that Page of Cups. I will say, I will say that there is Page of Cups can potentially be a pregnancy card. Okay, especially when we've got Venus and Jupiter playing around, and so this can be where someone has a pregnancy announcement. It can come as a surprise because the Page of Cups can be a surprise. Spirit also wants you to know, expect the unexpected, especially since Uranus is making some connections this month. Okay. But if you are not wanting to extend your family or start a family, then just be a little bit aware, okay, that this Page of Cups is out there. But you could have someone new entering your life, perhaps. You might have new love opening up for some of you here, but that Page of Cups, open your heart. Okay, open your heart to people, to connection with spirit, to the unknown, the unexpected, and also fun and joy. Your prosperity message, 10 of Cups. Well, hello. 10 of Cups, a wonderful card. So, it's like either you can get things back on track, you might get some really good news, hey, or you might have something that's resolved or something that comes to fruition here. So again, 5 of Pentacles, okay? Look on the bright side of things, all right? Because that 10 of Cups, oh, this is a happy ever after card, guys, right? There's some magic with it. It's happy home, happy family, happy children, happy relationships, all of this blossoming joy in your life, right? So some of you could have a financial situation come about, right? You could get that new job, you could sign that contract, you could find that new house that maybe you need, right? Whatever it is, there's a lot of happiness and joy all tied with your prosperity, your sense of security and stability and well-being. I do have fully extended and detailed money and career readings out for you. And of course, they do affect your prosperity. So check out the money and career playlist down below in the description and in the comments, and you will find your reading for June. So do check that out. But 10 of Cups is wonderfully joyous energy all around. And so even if you are feeling a little bit down in the dumps with that 5 of Pentacles, you may just kind of get yourself back together there and really just start to think positively. And that's where you see some really good things start to happen. Your relationship message, 8 of Swords, tied up in swords. Look at that. I'll get you another card for that one. The 8 of Swords is like a self-imposed restriction, okay? Where, so again, with that 5 of Pentacles, so there could be something here within a relationship, right? That's kind of having you feel stuck, right? You're trapped, you're restricted, you can't go forward, you can't go backwards, you can't go sideways, right? And it's like, I'm just not going anywhere. And so in a relationship, this can be friends, it can be family, it can be business relationships here as well. It can also be, in regards to people that you work with, right? And so is someone standing in your way, perhaps, right? Is someone getting in your way? Is someone convincing you that there is no way forward, right? So with the Five of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, okay, you know, you could be in a little bit of a conundrum for a relationship, okay? Or maybe you're just feeling like, you can't say what you need to say, okay? The Eight of Swords, we do quite often, we want to have a conversation, or we want to make a decision, or we want to do something, but there's something holding us back, right? We're wrapped up in ropes and tied up in swords. And it is quite often our own energy that's keeping us that way, right? Self-imposed. And so sometimes it's because of fear. And, sometimes we just overthink and overanalyze. We're too much up in our head and not enough in our heart. And so this can really be connected with that Five of Pentacles there. So, in regards to relationship, perhaps you're feeling here like you're stuck in a situation and you're not moving forward. And so maybe you're a little bit afraid of examining why you're not moving forward. And because you might be afraid that if you ask these questions or get something out in the open, then the worst will happen, right? If it's a romantic partnership, you're like, oh my God, if I talk about this, we're gonna break up. Well, if your relationship is on that much of a precarious ground that you can't have an honest and open conversation, well, maybe the writing's on the wall, right? And so, then that's where you reflect and you review why am I holding on? Right? And we go right back to that Sagittarius full moon, first couple of weeks. We're trying to cleanse our slate here. And this is where Saggy is like, okay, what is the truth? Right? Why are you still clinging on if you think you're in this much of a precarious situation? You may also be in a situation where you need to talk to somebody about money. Okay. Or maybe you need to ask for help. And here you are just, I don't want to ask. I don't want someone to know that I need help. Right? And, that's ego, that's pride. Okay, so if you need help, right, the Five of Pentacles reminds us that there is help somewhere. So if you need help with a relationship, sometimes we need some mediation, right? Sometimes we need a neutral third party to help us learn to communicate, perhaps, right? So something here that you may need to talk about, you may need to work through, you may need to face your fears here as well. I do sometimes get the sense, and I do with the Eight of Swords, though, that maybe you're in a situation where you want to like make new connections with people in your life. So whether they're new friends or new business connections or love and romance perhaps as well. We do have Page of Cups, right? Um, there's just something here where maybe you're just not feeling kind of out there right now. Okay. And it's this restriction, right? You're holding yourself back. So where are you holding yourself back and why? Okay, I think you'll get the answers, when we listen. But let's see what the clarifying cards were here. Oh, beautiful. Okay. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Very nurturing, very abundant energy. We've got the King of Swords. Okay. And we have the World. Interesting. So this can be in relation to a business relationship. So perhaps some of you, you're like, I'm not moving forward in my job. I think this relationship that, I have with my company, with my boss, with my associates that I work with, I don't know if I can continue to move forward. With the Queen of Pentacles right there and the King of Swords. King of Swords is really great for mediation and negotiation. Okay, really good for legal advice. We already have legal stuff showing up here with justice, so there could be something going on there. But the King of Swords has clarity, a sense of purpose, and is not afraid to make a decision or cut things off. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles is open and nurturing and abundant. Okay, and is very patient, right? Very prosperous. with the Queen of Pentacles, and very kind at the same time. So it may be that you need legal advice. The King of Swords can often present as someone who is really good with speaking, public speaking, um, really good with matters of the law, legalities, negotiations, all of that kind of stuff. And so this can be where, in order to resolve something, you may need to reach out to a lawyer or a mediator, especially Queen of Pentacles with some financial matters, or housing matters there as well, because the Queen of Pentacles is very tied to house and home. So there could be something going on there. But they're in the upright, right? So there's a resolution at hand. Okay, so once you get things out in the open, or once you make some decisions, or once you get the conversation started, okay, the World card here, you can resolve something. Okay, so again, there's something here that may be resolved that you've been waiting for very patiently. There could be something here where maybe you just need some information, some advice, a little bit of a help. There may be some professional help here in order to resolve, right? The World is where we wrap things up. Something comes to completion, something comes to a close, we make a decision, right? We've successfully completed our journey, and our door is opening for the next step, the next stage, something better or something new here as well. So we are getting out of this energy and into this energy. All right. You could very much be talking about money matters with somebody here. But again, I mean, hey, it is the World card. World card can represent an ending of things. And, if you have a relationship that, maybe you've been in for a while, but you're, not seeing eye to eye, or you don't see it going forward, okay, then the World card here, you may be like, okay, well, let's just recognize that we've come to the end of our journey. And it's been a good ride. We've had some good times, but I'm not sure if I'm stepping through that portal into tomorrow with you, right? That kind of thing. So you could be considering things that way. But I do see things getting better here with relationships with the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords, because this can be about talking about money and higher level of commitment, World card resolving our issues, or getting prepared for that higher level of commitment. Okay, so, it is a resolution in some way, but it's a positive resolution. Okay, a positive end to this chapter or a cycle. Okay, and then that portal opens up for you. All right, kind of a tricky one to navigate, perhaps, right? And it's because of this energy right there. It's like everything else is going swimmingly well. So again, with that Queen of Pentacles, yeah, you may have just been waiting for something to happen. There could also be a difference here, between you and a friend or a partner, and one of you might be the comforting, caring, down to earth, nurturing one, and the other one, could be, just maybe just like not quite connected in the same way. And so sometimes we need to talk about that. It's like, what are you really feeling? Because the swords, the King and Queen of Swords, are a little bit like Ice King and Queen, right? And so it's like the icy energy. We don't wear our heart on our sleeve. And so sometimes, you know, um, we don't want to ask, what are you feeling? We sometimes feel like I shouldn't have to ask, right? But, with that Queen of Pentacles being so caring and nurturing, when someone is a little bit cold or isn't expressive of their feelings, we can sometimes have this disparity there. So, so again, it's like once we kind of break out of our comfort zone there and take a little bit of a chance and get the conversation on the table, okay, this is where we really start to see some things unfolding. So let's get a couple more cards out here for you. Let's get some blessings. Make no mistake, though, oops, thank you, that the World card there is a successful completion. We're resolving some issues. It is filled with sometimes celebration, not always, because sometimes it's bittersweet a little bit. But it is filled with like abundance and, a sense of I've gotten something done, right? And that's unbeatable energy. So we got a couple blessings here. We've got There's your first one. A blessed heart. If you feel that something is missing, look within and you will find it. What's your heart saying? Your heart is the gateway to your soul, and your soul is the eternal you. Know that you are free, protected, and blessed. Beautiful. And here is your next blessing. Life's blessings. Life bestows her blessing. She is the wind of change flowing through you, and this change is your blessing. Don't try and hold on, no matter how unsettling it may seem, for all will magically transform when the time is right. When you look back, you will see only love. Those are your messages there, Scorpio. I hope there was something here for you. So please do like, share, and subscribe. I thank you so very much for watching, and have a wonderful June. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.